INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu has disclosed that materials of Ekiti State governorship election will not be routed through Central Bank of Nigeria, and that the commission will look for alternative during general election. Professor Yakubu made this known during the electorate, a conversation on election in Nigeria held in Abuja. Speaking on the election transmission of results, Professor Yakubu said the commission will follow what 2022 Electoral Act stated on Section 60, 62, and 64. However, INEC chairman Professor Yakubu has assured Nigerians that the commission will patronize local printers in the country for the printing of sensitive materials.
Okay, let me start with what I consider the easiest part, the movement of election materials. But you know, logistics, when you talk about logistics in elections, is much wider than just the movement of sensitive materials for the election. Take the case of Ekiti, for instance. All non-sensitive materials have been delivered to Ekiti, and they're in all the local government areas in the state. We have no issues with those. But we are talking about the specific case of materials usually delivered on behalf of the Commission by the Central Bank of Nigeria, inspected on the premises of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and then moved out of the premises of the CBN by our own officials. I want to say that since INEC started this collaboration with the Central Bank, we have never experienced a single issue with the movement of materials from the CBN. Never, not one. The agency responsible for our national currency, both printing and custody, has been such a good partner to the Commission. But we appreciate the current circumstances, and it is for that reason, pending the time we find an alternative, that for Ekiti State, the materials will not be routed through the Central Bank of Nigeria. Where we'll move the materials to the airport in Akure, and move the materials to our office in Ekiti, and do the distribution in our office in Ekiti. So we're not going to use the Central Bank in the meantime. But when it comes to subsequent elections, particularly general, then we have to look for alternative way of doing it. But I want to assure you that for Ekiti, the Ekiti governorship elections, the materials will not be handled by the Central Bank of Nigeria. There is an assumption that when people vote on election day, immediately you vote, your result will automatically travel somewhere. That is the assumption. INEC can only operate within the confines of the law. Section 60, 62, and 64 of the Electoral Act clearly define the procedure for transmission of election results. And it's a dual mode. You have the manual, you have the electronic. So we have described this in detail on how this is going to happen on election day, and ultimately how we are going to conduct both the manual and electronic transmission. But the law says that in the event of dispute, the electronically transmitted result shall be used to resolve the dispute. So I will advise that you get hold of this document. It's on our website, and study it in relation to the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022. Section 60, 62, 64 of the Electoral Act provide for electronic transmission of results.
However, INEC chairman Professor Yakubu has assured Nigerians that the commission will patronize local printers in the country for the printing of sensitive materials.
Well, the preference of the commission has always been to print the sensitive materials within the country. But remember, Nigeria is such a huge country, and the voter population is huge. When election is conducted in Nigeria, it's like conducting elections in the whole of West Africa. So sometimes, because of the shortness of time between the completion of primaries and the nomination of candidates and the election, For obvious reasons, the Commission has to print some of the sensitive materials outside the country, not all. But this time around, we'll see we have time, and therefore we'll be able to, as much as possible, patronize our printers locally. Remember that in all the off-season elections and the by-elections we have conducted, we have not printed any material outside the country. So it's the time that we have. But now that we have time, 180 days, from the time the parties submit list of candidates to the Commission and the election, we'll patronize as much as possible the printers locally.
Professor, the EFCC wrote the Commission recently on the issue of political parties candidates sending their account details for investigation. I don't know if the Commission has replied.
The Commission has responded already to the EFCC.
And
yeah, we have responded. They asked for information. We are duty bound to provide the information, and we did so.
Kemiga Olamikon, GTV Africa.